Everybody, Scoutcrafter here again. Today we're going to do a viewer request from that steam engine show haul I got. A lot of people have seen those KLEINs and they said, let's see those KLEINs done. I guess KLEINs are a real popular plier. Everybody loves them. I'm going to go over the top with this one, so let's get started. Okay, today's project, everybody's kind of been excited about these. These are the KLEINs. And these are probably the worst pair of KLEINs. They look like somebody left them outside and forgot about them. We are going to take these over the top. We're going to mint these things out. You won't recognize them. First thing we're going to do before they're frozen, they don't open. They're frozen. So first thing we're going to do is remove some of the rust with a quick wire brushing. Here with the post-wire brush evaluation, and we got most of the rust off here. It's still frozen, but the good thing is we had to hit it with two different wire, coarse and fine, and I'll tell you, this is, you know, it was really a problem here. I don't see any markings, so it's probably a later model with the laser etching or whatever, but that's okay because we're going to be taking all this down. So let's see if we can unfreeze this using some heat. Now we don't want to damage the cutters here with any heat, so what we're going to do is we're going to dip it in some water up to here and hit this with a little bit of heat, and it should open it up. Okay, that worked well. A little bit of heat, a little bit of penetrating fluid, working it through. Got all the rust out of that joint. You can see it's coming up here. Just keep wiping it off as it works its way up. Just keep flooding that joint with penetrating fluid, working it back and forth, and it smooths right out. And all the dirt, you just wipe the dirt off as it's coming out. It'll float up to the surface. But that's coming out good. Now we're just going to go over to the belt sander. Let's go. Okay, here's something we don't usually do. This is a post-sand belt sander evaluation. Now, I'm doing this because I have to show you. You see that little, you could see the grain of the belt and everything. This is the way they come from the factory. And I like that for the simple reason that don't show fingerprints like a fully polished does, but it's not as protected as a fully polished. But this is what it should look like, your tools, when you come off the belt sander, because if not, buffing is not going to take out those scratches, you know, so you have to have it. It has to be smooth like this, and it looks really good. You can see the handles, everything. So we got some special event planned for these pliers. So let me just give it a quick buff to get out some of the additional marks, and we'll be out. Okay, we're fresh off the buffer. That came out really nice. We sharpened up the cutters with some Swiss pattern files, and they're nice and sharp now. This came out really nice. Now, you guys have been asking me about some insulated handles. I know a lot of you don't like bare handles, although I have a preference for them. So I didn't polish the handles because I'm going to put the handles on now. So let's get to it. Now you know my favorite part of the video. Remember what it looked like before we started. By the way, did I mention I picked up a pair of Channel Lock 369s? And you'd like to hear my rant on these pliers. You know I'm a Channel Lock fan, but I got some issues with these. Okay, let's get back to today's project. There we go. These are finished. And let me tell you something. These are the cat's pajamas. Look at these KLEIN coats we put on here, huh? And I know I did the little assumption thing where you saw the plastic dip and you thought I was going to ruin them with that, but no, in fact I didn't. I put on the original KLEIN plastic. They call them KLEIN coats, and I'll show you what they're about. But these are really sweet, and of course they're red. But that's not me. That's the only color KLEIN makes them in because they know better. Okay, let me tell you a little bit about the KLEIN coats. Well, KLEIN Tools makes their replacement plier handles. It's called KLEIN coats, or it's made from tenite, and comes in a package. It looks like this, and you can see on the back here it says these are made for 7-inch models here, but the one I used for these pliers were the 8 to 9 inch. And you can see the model number here is 89, whereas the model number on the shorter handle is 70. And they're really nice. I mean, look at how they look on here. And what you do to put them on is you have to put them in hot water with the open end down in the hot water. You leave about 1 inch out of the water, which is here, because this is a hardened area, and that's what you use to drive them on with. And when they say drive them on, you got to use a soft blow hammer. If you're interested in seeing that process, I could show it to you, because I'd like to put them on a 7-inch pair that I have. But let's get back to this pair. You know, you can see here, we left the satin finish that KLEIN would normally have coming out of the factory, the satin. And now, what's interesting about this is I had to do some research, because there's no KLEIN logo on here. And at first I thought maybe these were a later model, because I said, well, they're probably that crappy laser etching, and I ground it off with the wire brush or whatnot. But not true. What happened, if you look at the handle here, you could see on the inside of the handle, you'll see there's a, there you see the E-EN, the triangle E-EN right there underneath the KLEIN codes. What that is, that's a date code. And I'll put the date code at the end of the video. These were from the fourth quarter of 1946, these were made. And again, there is no, and they would normally stamp that in. There was nothing on there. You would normally see like a letter left over. There was nothing there. That was the only date code. So that's pretty interesting. Let me show you how these work. Okay, again, I did sharpen them with a, I went over with a Swiss pattern file. And again, I went through the entire length of the jaws, so you could see they do cut. The whole length of the jaws are sharp. And that was with a thin copper. This is a multi-stranded, and you could see this cuts much, you know, very good. It's a very good cutting plier. Again, this was a fun restoration because of what it looked like before, but these KLEIN coats are really, really nice. They feel good in the hand. Again, I'm not a big insulation fan, but of course I like these because of the color. I like the way they ride up on the edge like that. It looks almost like they were factory made. They have a little teardrop on the bottom, which these are hardened so that, you know, if they do get banged or whatever, they're not flimsy, and it is a solid grip. They don't twist on the handle. Once you slide them on there and leave them on overnight, they kind of form to the handle, so I really like them. So this is the way they came out. So in closing, this is what the jaws came out like. You can see the knurling on the jaws are really nice. The cutters inside cleaned out. They were oiled up, ready to go. And again, the handles, really like them, especially the clear red, translucent red. So that is it. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you enjoyed the restoration. Thanks very much for tuning in. Take care and have a nice day.